Have you ever loved someone so much, or cared for someone so deeply, that you carried their burdens as if they were your own? What if I told you there was a young man who quite literally carried his friend, S books, day after day, until his back could no longer bear the weight? And what if I told you, hidden inside this story of sacrifice and pain, there lies a truth that could change the way you see friendship, responsibility, and the meaning of love itself? This is the story of Michael and Aaron. Michael grew up in a small town in Ohio where everyone knew everyone else, and nothing much seemed to change. He was quiet, the kind of boy who never sought attention, but was always there when someone needed help. His parents worked long shifts at the factory, and money was always tight, but they raised him with values stronger than steel. Be kind, work hard, and stand by your word. Aaron, on the other hand, was different. He was the kind of boy who walked into a room and everyone noticed. He had a quick smile, a laugh that could fill a hall, and a way of making people feel important just by looking at them. But behind that easy charm, Aaron struggled. School was hard for him. Reading didn't come naturally. Math was a nightmare. And he often felt like he was running behind everyone else, just trying to catch up. The two boys became friends in middle school, when Aaron dropped a stack of heavy textbooks in the hallway and everyone else laughed. Michael bent down quietly, picked up the books, and carried them to Aaron's next class. From that day on, it was Michael who walked beside him. And before long, carrying Aaron's books wasn't just an act of kindness. It became a daily ritual. Every morning, Michael would meet Aaron at the edge of the schoolyard. Aaron, trying to look casual, would hand over his bag, or the pile of books he could barely keep balanced. And Michael, without a word, would shoulder the load. He never complained, never asked for thanks. To him, this was friendship. To Aaron, it was survival. Years passed, and high school came with new challenges. The books grew heavier, the homework thicker, and the future more uncertain. Aaron leaned on Michael more than ever, not just for carrying his books, but for carrying him through tests, late-night study sessions, and the weight of expectations he didn't think he could ever meet. But carrying another person's load always comes at a cost. Michael's back began to ache. At first, it was just a dull pain, something he brushed off. After all, he was young and strong. But as the semesters rolled on, the pain deepened. Sometimes, after dropping Aaron off at his house, Michael would go home, shut his bedroom door, and collapse onto his bed, unable to move for hours. He didn't tell Aaron, he didn't tell anyone, because he thought this was what loyalty meant. He thought that being a true friend meant carrying the weight, no matter how heavy it became. The breaking point came one autumn afternoon during senior year. The leaves were turning gold and red, and the halls of the high school buzzed with excitement about college applications. Michael was walking with Aaron, his arms full of books as usual, when suddenly, halfway up the stairs, his legs gave out. His body crumpled under the weight, and the books scattered across the floor. Students gasped. Teachers rushed forward, and for the first time, Aaron saw the truth. He saw the pain etched in Michael's face, the sweat on his brow, the trembling in his hands. He saw the friend who had been quietly sacrificing for years, until his back finally broke beneath the weight of carrying someone else's life. Michael was taken to the hospital that day. The diagnosis was clear: severe muscle strain, early signs of spinal damage. The doctor asked him a simple question: "Son, what have you been carrying?" And Michael, with tears in his eyes, whispered, "Just my friend's books." Aaron sat beside his hospital bed, silent. For the first time in his life, he felt the full measure of guilt and gratitude all at once. He thought of all the years Michael had walked beside him, carrying not just paper and ink, but also his fears, his insecurities, his failures. And he realized something he had never seen before. He had let someone else break themselves so that he could stand tall. That night, Aaron didn't sleep. He went home, spread out his books on the desk, and for the first time, he forced himself to face them alone. He stayed up until dawn, reading, struggling, failing, but refusing to let Michael carry his weight any longer. It was the turning point. From then on, Aaron changed. He began to study harder, to walk with his books in his own hands, to take responsibility for his own path. And every time his arms ached, he thought of Michael lying in that hospital bed, recovering from years of silent sacrifice. Michael eventually healed, though his back never fully returned to the way it was. He carried scars, both physical and emotional, but he never once regretted what he had done. When asked why, he would simply say, "Because that's what friends do. They carry you when you can't carry yourself." But here's the lesson. The part of the story that reaches out to you wherever you are right now. There is a beauty in carrying others, in lifting their burdens, in standing by them when the world turns away. But there is also a danger in forgetting your own strength, your own limits, your own worth. Michael's loyalty nearly broke him because he believed friendship meant never saying no. Aaron Oes' growth only began when he realized that true friendship isn't about letting someone else carry you forever. It is about learning to carry yourself while walking side by side. So ask yourself today, what burdens are you carrying that aren't yours to hold? Whose weight are you silently breaking under? And more importantly, who in your life have you allowed to carry too much of you? The truth is, love and loyalty must walk hand in hand with responsibility. Help others, yes. Carry them when they stumble, lift them when they fall. But never forget, your back was not made to hold someone else's life forever. Aaron went on to graduate, something he once thought he could never do. He thanked Michael at the ceremony, standing tall with his books in his own hands. Michael smiled from the crowd, his back aching but his heart full, because he knew his sacrifice had not been in vain. And you, listening right now, you have your own Michaels and Aarons in life. Maybe you are the one carrying too much. Maybe you are the one being carried. Either way, remember this. True friendship, true love, true loyalty, they do not break us. They teach us when to hold on and when to let go. So, let this story be a mirror. Carry someone when they cannot walk, but do not let their weight break you. And if someone has carried you, honor them not by leaning forever, but by learning to stand on your own. Because at the end of the day, the strongest friendships are not built on one person carrying another. They are built on walking together, side by side, each carrying their own books, but never walking alone.